G'day guys, MFWest here, and today we're going to be doing a Mythic plus Unholy DK guide. Now I made one at the start of the expansion, and it lasted quite a long time in terms of its relevancy, but I thought now it's time to mix it up. And I have been seriously getting into Mythic plus. It's something that I've actually been enjoying, and I'm really enjoying it. Just like, if I wasn't into Mythic plus as much as I am now, the game would be quite boring because of how busted PvP is right now. Not a huge fan of it. I will be making a comeback though. I just gotta find partners in time, but that's not what today's video is about. It's about Mythic plus. So I'm going to be going over these 4 different topics. First thing is going to be Raider.io. Then I'm going to be talking about the talent spec you should be running, legendaries, and then I'm going into actual footage and showing you guys how to plan Holy in Mythic plus. And now a lot of Mythic plus knowledge is just experience. You need to get a lot of experience. You need to actually try out big keys, and you need to see how everything works and what an Unholy Death Knight can bring to the table. Now we're pretty versatile. I do think Frost is better than us on that at Mythic plus, but Unholy has its niche. We're very good at, very versatile, so we're very good at single target, if not better than Frost, and we can dish out some seriously strong AoE DPS, if not as strong as Frost, but it's up there, like it's very relevant. So first things first is Raider.io. Now this add-on you can take as a grain of salt, or you can take it quite seriously. Now if you're pugging, I know a lot of you are, I wouldn't recommend it. If you can, try and make a pre-made with your guildies or mates. It's just much better than pugging. But if you are pugging, a lot of people are using Raider.io to judge you. All it does is every dungeon you do, you get a score for the level that you complete it with, and that score adds up to a total. At the moment I'm 3,128. I'm 3rd on the server for Death Knight DPS, and these are the different keys that I've done. So yeah, the goal is to try and get as many high keys as possible, and that gives you a score, like I said here. And yeah, it's just something you can take, like I said, as a grain of salt. You don't have to go by this, but I recommend getting the add-on in game and just checking out the website just to see what your score is out of curiosity. Yeah, and it makes life, getting into pugs, easier. So if you are pugging, I recommend checking it out. But it is quite toxic. It does cause elitism. But yeah. Alrighty guys, next up is going to be legendaries. Now we have a very straightforward go-to legendaries that you need to have for Mythic plus, and it's basically 4 different legendaries. Now the reason why 4 is because we have 2 different types of sets that you need to be using in Mythic plus. It's an AoE set and a single target set. Now for the single target set, you want to be using shoulders and chest. So good. You should be destroying everyone else in single target, just because of how strong DA is. It's amazing. It's great to have for every boss. Your group's gonna love you. Even just having it for example, in Court of Stars, just little mini bosses before the second boss. It's amazing. Helps chunk down the bosses very well. It's great. Now the second set that you want to have of AoEs is going to be the Helm and Soul of the Deathlord Bursting Swords Ring. That is extremely strong for AoE damage, and I'll show you guys how strong it is. So when you're not doing bosses, you want to be swapping into this AoE set. I'm going to leave my macros down in the description about how to swap between gear sets very fast, but this is how you swap. This is a very good AoE build. You'll be doing maximum amount of AoE in this kind of set, and you just want to try and find an AoE trinket if you can to use. That's basically it, guys. So those are the legendaries. Now Kill Jaden's optional, but if you can get your hands on these 4, especially now in the new patch that you can actually buy your legendaries with 1,000 essences, so get out there and get your legendaries, guys. Get lucky, hopefully. Next is talents. Now it really depends on the week. So let's say it's a Fortitude week, okay? Fortitude meaning that the adds are buffs in the dungeon, not the bosses. You have to look and see. So this is basically going to be your setup. So let's say that I'm in single target gear, so this is straight as you're going into the dungeon. For Fortitude week, in a dungeon like Nels or Vault of the Wardens or Court of Stars, Ebon Fever, Pestilent Pustles, okay? Especially on Fortitude week, take Clawing Shadows. Clawing Shadows does a shitload of AoE damage, especially since Mastery is buffing this ability. It's very, very strong, especially inside of your Defile. Also not Defile, Death and Decay. Next, Sludge Belcher. In almost every situation, guys, you want to be using Spell Eater. I cannot tell you how many times Spell Eater has saved my life on multiple occasions in many dungeons. I will show you in the clips where you can actually... I really recommend using AMS to dodge boss mechanics. But Lingering Apparition will only be using that if you're like you're steaming through a dungeon. If your tank is just chain pulling mobs and it's a low key, then I guess and damage isn't really going to hurt you, then Lingering Apparition is amazing. Just remember that Spell Eater is increasing the size of your AMS. So, very, very strong. On Fortitude Week, guys, Infected Claws is very strong. Even on Tyrannical, if there's a lot of ads in the dungeon, Infected Claws is go-to. Otherwise, obviously, Shadow Infusion will be great to buff your DA even more. Sorry, guys, on single target, but... And then last, Dark Arbiter. It's actually worth, especially on higher keys, like 20 plus, always taking DA, even on Fortitude, because the bosses become something that are too time consuming, and it's nice to have one person in the group who has that big single target nuke, which really helps out smash those bosses down. Defile is optional. I mean, if you guys have really good single target, then you could go Defile, but to help your group out, depending on your composition, Dark Arbiter is much better. But for single target, guys, I would honestly only be changing it up in this sense. Maybe if you're looking at a very big Tyrannical key, I would just do that. You still want to have Infected Claws, depending on which, say it's Upper Karazhan, then by all means go Shadow Infusion, but if it's like Knelt on Tyrannical on the 20, you need to be going Infected Claws because there's a lot of ads that you're going to be chain pulling and whatnot. So that's going to cover the legendaries, talents, and Red IO, guys. Last thing to go over is stat priorities. Now, if you are running DA, you still want to be having that 25% haste cap, and then just honestly stacking your mastery. Just stack it. Fel Oil is a very good trinket to have to buff your DA on every boss that you're using. It just makes DA way more efficient, which means bosses are going to be going down faster, which is more time for your raid group. I do recommend trying to get your hands on Umbral Moonglaves. It's a great trinket to drop on those massive AoE packs, and it does do a decent portion of my AoE if they all stay in it. So yeah, those are some little tips there. And yeah, just try and get as much mastery as you can. It's going to be buffing your Clawing Shadows as well. So guys, the next portion of the video is going to be clips. I'm just going to be showing you guys some gameplay, how to do AoE pulls, things you can do as an Unholy Death Knight that will benefit your group. So let's get stuck into it right now. First clip, guys, we've got Neltharian's Lair. This is the first pull. I think this was a 21. As you're going to see, we're going to group them all up, and this is going to showcase to you Unholy's burst AoE. So I got Infected Claws, pop D&D down, pop Glaives, and spam my Scourge Strike. Now, at this point I wasn't running Clawing Shadows, and I'm doing like 12 million. If I was Clawing Shadows, I reckon I'd be doing like 13 million burst, but just showing you guys how strong Unholy's burst AoE. Not only do we have burst AoE, but we have sustained AoE because of our pet's Infected Claws, constantly putting wounds on our targets, and then obviously the Bursting Swords ring, spreading the wounds on targets. It's just a really, really strong, consistent AoE DPS spec, which is why I think it has a really good place in Mythic Plus. And yeah, and Dark Transformation is not a small cooldown, sorry, not a large cooldown, so you can use it every minute, which is really, really handy to have. And yeah, with that you'll always have D&D, which is great to have as well. And yeah, this is one of my, I think, if you compare it to Frost, Frost has very good burst AoE, but I think Unholy has burst and sustained. Alright, so in this 21 we had to make sure that we were actually kiting out these pelters and breakers. I always tell you guys, even in my last Mythic Plus guide, always grip the pelters back in. I'm currently in this video. I was in Discord with my friends, and we were constantly chaining our CCs. I popped DA here. A very important thing with Mythic Plus is to make sure you know where to use your cooldowns. So I use DA here because I know it will obviously be back for the boss. I could even use it again before the boss. So make sure that you're using all your cooldowns as much as you can. Here we're going to go on the Shaper, interrupt its first bolt. Just experience, guys. Like, I know for a fact the Shaper will cast 2 Stone Bolts into a totem, and then he'll cast Stone Bolts again. And when this thing starts getting buffed, you do not want to let him get any of the Stone Bolts off, because you will die. So I interrupt both of those, and remember, you can, as you're going to see, Unholy DK's Death Grip, or Death Grips in general, are amazing in Mythic Plus. You can stop so many ad mechanics just by gripping them. So yeah, on this pack pretty much determines, it's on Fortified Teaming Week. If you basically chest the dungeon, if you don't kill this pack, you're pretty screwed for time. And this was a 21, so yeah. So we're on the breaker here. Our tank's kiting them, because the minute they stop walking, they'll start casting, and you're just going to see Unholy's DPS on the run. And because of the Bursting Swords ring, as long as they're slightly grouped, it will do a lot of AoE damage, so it's pretty good. And yeah, that's just with Dark Transformation popped. So I gripped that pelter back over to my melee, so you can... Death Grips can also set up a lot of... you can position a lot of the packs as well. It's not just there to interrupt. It's there to also let your Red Paladin cleave and all that stuff as well. Alright, on this pack, I hope you guys know that you can interrupt the Frenzy with Death Grip. It's a very quick way to interrupt the Frenzy. Alright, I'm going to show you guys. He's going to cast it just now. All you do is simply Death Grip it. Yep, here it comes. And Frenzy, grip it. Done. Sorted. Your group will love you. If he gets that Frenzied off on a Raging or Fortified week, you are so fucked. You're so screwed. Alright, this next pool is going to be a 20 Upper Karazhan. Now these first two packs, it's on Fortified. I'm going to control one of them. You can control these spirits, and we're going to pull this together with the other two spirits. Now, this is where you want to be popping everything. DA, Dark Transformation, Apocalypse, you name it. And now that we have control of one of the spirits, we can comfortably get these guys. So, Terrifying Whale is what you want to interrupt. We interrupt all of them there, which is very, very good. And now my DA's popped in. It's just small things like this, like knowing which mobs you can actually control. And I will go through, when I show you guys my dungeon, my full clears of each dungeon, I'll go through a commentary and show you guys which mobs you can actually control. But it's basically any undead. This pack on Fortified Week is like one of the hardest packs. So you basically want to burst it. So I saved Dark Arbiter to burst this pack down. And you want to make sure that you're interrupting as much as you can. Now I see he's in a bad spot, so I Wraithwalk up the ramp and I Death Grip him into a clear space for the melee to kill him. And yeah, so that mob's down. A lot of people have trouble here because the Slayer will do his Mighty Swing and knock people off. So it's up to the tank to position him not into your party. So I'm actually going to Heavy Smash, there it is. I'm going to Wraithwalk up the ramp now and group him into a safe area. But very important trash pack in Upper Karazhan on Fortified Week anyway. So yeah, it's pretty tough. You want to save your DA for that pack. Now on this Worm Boss, I'm going to slow it down. DKs, if you're using the empowered AMS, you can pop your anti-magic shield and take these orbs, okay? You just got to watch the duration of your AMS and you can absorb all the orbs, which is going to save a lot of damage going out and you basically wiping, because you can, every second one of these orb phases you can take. So you can take the first one and then the third one. Someone has to take the orb phase in between the first and third. So not much damage goes out, and this mana didn't go too bad, so that's just something for you guys to know. Now, Unholy Death Knights. How good is their AoE on the move? Well, I'm going to show you guys right here. On these packs, on teaming, the tank wants to constantly be moving so that they don't do a cleave ability. Now I'm just going to show you guys here. I'm not using Clawing Shadows. I wish I did, because I can showcase to you how amazing it is, but here we are using it without Clawing Shadows, and just look at my damage. That's just my pet using Infected Claws and cleaving the ads, as well as me kiting and using Death Coil. Look how far away I am from the mobs. Frost DKs cannot do this. This is something Unholy is very good at. It's just like being able to constantly DPS on the move. I'm nowhere near the ads in case they do cleave, but I could have gone at this stage into there and DPS them, but I'm doing 4.4 million while not even being near the mobs. Now with Clawing Shadows, you can do this even better. All you're going to do is focus down the mob with the Festering Wounds, and that will pop and spread it onto the nearby ads. So after that mob, we have an actual a mini boss, and here you want to swap gears. That's what I was telling you guys about. I was just in my AoE gear, now I'm in my single target gear, and I'm going to pop DA and pump the Soul Render. this makes you so versatile. You guys need to be using everything you have in your disposal, all your different legendaries in the dungeon, because that's what makes Unholy strong. If you stay in one set of gear the whole dungeon, you're just not taking advantage of your single target and AoE specs with your legendaries. So yeah, there you go. Another example, guys, of just using a hero of Cloning Shadows, just our burst AoE here. Watch the meter, and if I wanted to, I didn't even need to be near them, but I know the tank had aggro, so this was in a 20 BRH, by the way, and yeah, it's just really strong AoE, and it's basically all bursting swords and virulent plague damage. That is what it is, guys. That's why the class ring is so good for Unholy. It makes it extremely versatile in Mythic Plus. And I hope you guys are getting a good idea of how Unholy works, guys. Alright, just another example of our burst AoE. Because a lot of people are like, why play Unholy when you can play Frost? Well, this is an example of how strong our AoE is, guys. Yeah. I do use glaives on all our big AoE pulls. Got pretty lucky with that last tier. Got a 930 Warforged one, which isn't that high in today's world, but it's okay. So we just pulled that AoE pack, and now we're gonna pull this bridge pack. Now from the bridge pack, we pull into an Enforcer. You want to make sure that you're always swapping to your single target gear for the Enforcer, guys. So here we go. Now the Inquisitors, you can grip his I-beam. You do not want to let the Inquisitor get the I-beam off. I will post this video, obviously, of doing the cos and give you guys all my tips and tricks, but yeah, interrupting Searing Glare and interrupting the I-beam. You, as one person, can stop this Inquisitor from doing all types of damage. Just one person. So, and there's 4 other people that can interrupt. So, Death Knight's bring a shitload of stuff to the party. So here, the first bodyguard is this swinging bitch. I'll pop DA on her, and it just helps the group get through this. So if each of your DPS save a major cooldown for each of these bodyguards, they go through really fast. And basically, if you pop DA on the first or second bodyguard, you will have it up for the boss, which is very important, because our boss damage, our single target damage in Mythic Plus is one of the best in the game, because most classes have to spec AoE for the dungeon. They can't spec single target. So let me just show you the kind of DPS we do on single target. This will be the last clip I show you guys. You get a 10 million Chains of Ice. Rewind that and have a look. So yeah, this is why Unholy is so good. We can just swap in and out of AoE and single target damage with our legendaries. So 4.5, basically 4 million DPS sustain. The boss is at almost 50% HP, and I'm still around the 3.8 to 4 million DPS range. That is insane. Groups will love you for that DPS. Then we just swap into our Bursting Swords ring and our Helm and just cleave up the AoE. So obviously the ads have spawned. This is a 20 BRH, yeah. And remember, you can grip these ads like I'm doing here. You can stun them. You can use your pet grip. You can probably just solo CC all of these. I pop AMS and IBF for that soul burst. That's the one thing you'll be scared of. And then it's just rinse and repeat, guys. So those are going to be all the clips. I hope you guys enjoyed those. I know it wasn't that many, but I don't want the video to drag on too much. I will be showing you guys individual videos. But yeah, I'm just going to wrap up the video, guys, and just do a little bit of summary of Unholy DKs. So let's get right into that now. Alrighty guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching. And the great thing about Mythic Plus is, I just wanted to say, is that there's levels for everyone. There's low level keys, there's high level keys. You can challenge yourself on like a crazy spectrum. There's just so much. That's why I'm enjoying it right now. And I hope you guys found this guide useful. Please give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. And I just wanted to ask you guys, would you prefer unedited footage, so like raw footage of me doing Mythic Plus dungeons? I have a shitload of keys that I need to post, high level keys. Would you rather the unedited footage, so like 30 minutes, or would you rather me speed up and cut stuff out and just make it around 15 minutes with commentary? Just pop it down below, as well as your opinion of way through the video, and let me know how you guys find Unholy DKs in Mythic Plus. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We've got on-demand burst, decent survivability. We are missing like an invulnerability, which makes a lot of classes much better to take at high level keys, but yeah, let's see if we can get Unholy on the map, guys. Unholy for the win. Peace.